What is it about sugar that we all find so irresistible? I mean, we all know it isn't great for us, but we just can't seem to get enough of it. This special substance and a slew of substitutes are in nearly everything, and our bodies just seem to crave it. In this video, I'm going to explain what can cause some of these cravings, why we get them, and how you can set yourself up to not fall victim to spiraling down the health pit that goes along with consuming too much sugar. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amy, I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm here to share the real facts about the foods we consume, debunk diet culture myths, and share some tasty and healthy recipes along the way. If you like facts and not fiction related to science, now is the time to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, and join our group of thrivers. Now let's get back into sugar. The sugar trap is real, and honestly, it is a cycle that can be hard to break, even for the most disciplined of people. What sweet do you crave most? Are you a cake, pie, ice cream, or candy kind of person? Let me know in the comments below. When we start eating sweets, we just want to eat more, right? The simple act of eating sweets triggers some happy and reward systems in our brain, which reinforces our desire to reach for these items whenever we can. I mean, who doesn't like to feel good? And it can be easy to fall into the sugar cycle and difficult to break free. Eating sugar causes our brain to release chemicals such as serotonin, which make us feel good. And naturally, we want to continue to feel good, so the sugar craving cycle continues. Research shows that the feeling sugar gives us is comparable to other addictive substances in the way that it fires off the pleasure centers of our brain. Excessive sugar consumption can cause addiction-like cravings because it lowers our dopamine and opioid receptors. And while whole foods have natural sugars, in this video, I'm not talking about those. We're talking about added sugar. Now, I can already hear some of you keyboard warriors typing away, but Amy, fruit has sugar in it too. Yes, whole foods do contain natural sugars, but this video is about added sugars. I mean, have you ever sat down to eat an apple and then all of a sudden you just couldn't put the bag of apples down? I don't think so. This video is focused on added sugars, and as Americans, we are consuming way too much added sugar each day. According to the American Heart Association, the average American eats 22 to 30 teaspoons of added sugar per day. You might be thinking, so what? Well, the recommended amounts per day are vastly lower. For women, the recommended amount is 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day, which is about 25 grams. And for men, it's 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day, which is about 36 grams. Now, let's visualize this with some popular food products. A 12-ounce can of soda has about 36 grams of sugar. And that is also how much is in 6 Oreos or 1 Costco chocolate muffin. All those foods are going to put you way over the daily recommended amount of added sugar per day in just one sitting. Stress can do all kinds of crazy things to our body. I've actually broken out in hives from stress. That's how my body reacted to moving to a new state with 1-year-old twins, and my husband was sent on deployment. Stress can also cause sugar cravings. When we are stressed, we have higher levels of cortisol, our stress hormone, and eating sweets releases serotonin, our feel-good, calming chemical messenger, which is also sometimes called a natural mood booster. So sweets can essentially give us a little bit of calm and a mood boost for a short time. Then we feel good after eating, say, a handful of M&Ms. So we want to go back for more to feel good again, and the cycle continues. And also, as it turns out, when we're under acute stress, our brain requires 12% more energy. And with carbohydrates as our brain's preferred fuel source, the craving for those quick carbs leads to sweets on the brain. There are several hormones that play a role in our food cravings. Ghrelin is a hormone that causes our feelings of hunger. Think growling stomach, ghrelin, that's how you remember that one. And then leptin does the opposite of ghrelin. It's the hormone that causes us to feel fullness, while insulin is the hormone that helps to regulate our body's energy and blood sugar levels. So any imbalances in those hormones can definitely cause us to crave sugar. Now one for the ladies. I have to touch on the monthly cravings that plague so many of us. During the luteal phase of a woman's menstrual cycle, changes in hormones, estrogen and progesterone can prompt cravings for chocolate and sweets. This one isn't just a myth, it's been backed up by research. So when you have those cravings, just know that they can be due to your hormones and try to make sure it doesn't become a habit. And speaking of habits, do you find yourself ready for dessert as soon as you put your fork down and finish dinner, or instinctively reach for a 3 p.m. candy break during work? Sweets as a habit can be difficult to break. And when a sugary treat is a reward and becomes a habit, that is especially difficult to break. Have you ever heard of the story of Pavlov's dog?
Liken your situation to that of Pavlov's dog. And every time his dog would ring a bell, Pavlov would eat.
Are you sure it was the dog who rang the bell?
Yeah, who else would it be?
Okay, Kelso got that totally backwards, but you get the point. The bell rings and the dog starts to drool. He was conditioned to do that. Say, for example, I treat myself to a bowl of ice cream every single night when I watch TV. Well, then soon it will become conditioned and become this habit so that as soon as I click the TV on, my taste buds and my stomach are telling me it's time for ice cream. We've built that conditioning into the habit, which is especially difficult to break. Sugar can be pretty addictive, as we discussed earlier. So add the addictive nature of sugar to a habit and you have a sugar cycle that truly feeds itself. And speaking of habits, I was talking to my mom about sweets and the subject of this video, and she had a great question that I wanted to share with you all. She said when she eats a bunch of sweets, afterwards she has to have something salty. So why does this happen? She'll have her sweets and then she immediately has to have her pretzels afterwards. Well, there's some science to this. Researchers call it taste fatigue, where we reach our fill of a certain taste flavor, in this case sweets, so we crave salty foods to counteract the taste fatigue of sweets. And then this leads to an even bigger cycle. We have our sweets and then we crave salty, and then we can go back to craving sweets because we have taste fatigue related to salty. And it is a giant cycle and habit that can be difficult to break. Picture this: you skip breakfast because you're in a hurry to get out the door to work. Lunch is a quick cafeteria salad, and then 5 o'clock hits and you aren't just hungry, you are hangry. Going too long without eating causes our body to crave the fastest fuel possible: simple carbohydrates. This is when we reach for whatever is quick and easy, and it's not usually the best for us. I'm talking about candy, cookies, whatever will give us fuel fast. And speaking of not eating enough, are you eating enough protein? Protein is beneficial for our body in so many ways: muscle building and repair, making those hormones we talked about earlier, our bone health, the list goes on. And it's also super important for managing cravings. Protein helps to stabilize our blood sugar and prevent those huge spikes and low lows that can cause more sugar cravings. When we consume protein, it slows down the rate that we absorb carbohydrates, which means slowing down the rate of sugar going into our bloodstream. Plus, protein helps to keep us fuller and more satisfied longer, which can help to keep those sugar cravings at bay. When we are tired, our body seeks to find energy any way it can. Have you ever tried to pull an all-nighter? Maybe back in your college days. I bet you needed a snack around 3 a.m. and you were probably ravenous all day the following day. If you've not gotten enough sleep, you may seem hungrier than usual. And this is because your body is saying, hey, I need energy. I didn't get enough recovery, so I need energy. Lack of sleep increases our hunger-stimulating hormone called ghrelin. Remember ghrelin? And it also decreases our appetite-suppressing hormone, leptin. When this happens, our insulin sensitivity can be decreased, causing us to reach for sugary, simple carbohydrate foods. So, how do we deal with these sugar cravings? First off, we want to acknowledge them and then seek to identify the craving. Were you up the night before with a sick kid and your craving is due to lack of sleep? Is stress from work causing you to hit the vending machine at 2 p.m.? Is it hormone related? Or could it be that habit of dessert after every single dinner? When we identify the craving, it helps us to then manage it next time. So you can check in with yourself when that craving hits. Am I really hungry or am I overtired? Did I eat enough today? Have I been having enough protein? After you've identified your craving, what do we do next to manage it? Start by looking at your meals. Are you eating balanced meals? Are you eating evenly throughout the day? And are you eating enough protein? And then monitor your sweets portions. If you portion out your sweets instead of keeping the whole bag in front of you, it helps keep you honest about what you're consuming. Next, movement. This is really helpful to break that sugar habit. If you consistently reach for dessert after a meal, get up from the table and get some movement in. This not only helps to break up the sugar habit, it also helps to stabilize our blood sugar. So go for a short walk, run the stick vacuum around your house, or do a 5-minute house declutter. Breaking up the routine of your habit will help to break the sugar addiction. And research shows that moving for just 5 minutes after a meal helps to stabilize our blood sugar. Also, water and hydration is key. Before reaching for that box of cookies, have a drink of water. Sometimes dehydration can be mistaken for hunger and can trigger cravings too. And then finally, practicing mindful eating techniques can help to break the sugar fix. I have a whole video outlining what mindful eating is and how to practice it, and I highly recommend watching that next, so I will drop a link to it. Thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you discover some of the reasons behind your sugar cravings, hit that like button and subscribe to join our group of thrivers, and so you can be notified when we release new videos like this nutrition tip video, along with nutritious and yummy recipes. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, eat well, be well, thrive.